the Qing dynasty bureaucracy that held 9 highly influential provincial governors, one of whom was the Governor General of Liangjiang. Those who held the position were invariably powerful and wealthy, representing the highest echelons of the imperial court. However, no matter how high their rank, they remained subjects and could not challenge the emperor. During the reign of Emperor Yongzheng, a Governor General of Liangjiang, for disagreeing with the emperor, was ultimately executed along with his entire family. Emperor Yongzheng was an outlier among the Qing emperors, possessing an unusually calm disposition. While other Qing emperors generally conformed to traditional perceptions of the emperor, Yongzheng stood out. From the moment he ascended the throne, an atmosphere of unease enveloped the Qing officialdom, as no one could fathom his inner thoughts. Before ascending the throne, Emperor Yongzheng rarely interacted with court officials, and only a handful of them remained close to him. While other princes competed to curry favor with officials, Emperor Yongzheng remained steadfast in his own ways, refusing to interact with others, earning him the nickname that the Cold-Faced King. Most officials initially believed that the new emperor would be the 8th prince, Ainsi, but Emperor Kangxi unexpectedly chose Yinjin. This resulted in officials being unfamiliar with the new emperor upon his accession. However, this unfamiliarity was not a bad thing, as Emperor Yongzheng immediately embarked on a campaign to rectify the bureaucracy. He immediately ordered a thorough investigation of all officials. Any officials found guilty were immediately suspended and investigated. Serious offenses were punished with confiscation of property and execution, while even more egregious cases involved the execution of entire families. This move by Emperor Yongzheng instilled in officials a greater restraint in their reckless behavior. Of course, Emperor Yongzheng didn't limit himself to punishing corrupt officials, but he also commended those who exemplified integrity. One day, Emperor Yongzheng read a memorial presented by the left censor-in-chief. The memorial mentioned that Governor General of Liangjiang, Tang Wenyao, lived an extremely simple life, subsisting on dried radish and boiled cabbage daily, making him a model of integrity. Emperor Yongzheng was delighted upon hearing this, but then he felt something was amiss. While he encouraged officials to be frugal, why did Tang Wenyao, the Governor General of Liangjiang, need to be so frugal? Chewing on dried radish and boiled cabbage, that was certainly a hardship, but the Governor General's salary was sufficient to provide a comfortable life for his family. While he couldn't afford delicacies every day, he could easily afford meat. So why was he so impoverished? The emperor, a discerning man, sensed a hidden agenda. Tang Wenyao's actions might be a show, intended to conceal more serious issues, but they backfired. He immediately summoned his trusted minister, Li Wei, and ordered him to investigate the Governor General's office. Li Wei, a close confidant handpicked by Emperor Yongzheng, was loyal and steadfast, possessing a strong character and a ruthless attitude towards corrupt officials. As a result, Emperor Yongzheng placed great trust in him and frequently assigned him to covert investigations. Upon arriving in Jiangning, Li Wei infiltrated the Liangjiang Governor General's mansion and became a handyman. Before his arrival, Emperor Yongzheng had briefed him on Tang Wenyao's basic situation, including the incident of him eating radishes and cabbages. However, upon arriving at Tang Wenyao's residence, Li Wei sensed a hidden agenda. The Governor General's mansion's gate was impressively grand, with 8 guards stationed outside and 4 inside. How could someone so poor they could only afford to eat radishes and cabbages afford 8 guards? This seemed out of place. Upon entering the residence, a housekeeper assigned Li Wei to help out in the kitchen. Li Wei thought this might be a good opportunity to investigate the cabbage and radish incident. Upon arriving, he was astonished by what he saw. Tang Wenyao's kitchen rivaled the imperial kitchen in its opulence. Li Wei had been to the imperial kitchen before and knew its inner workings well. But Tang Wenyao's kitchen was even more elaborate than that. Truly eye-opening. After searching the kitchen, Li Wei indeed found a large basket of cabbage, but no dried radish. He continued his search and eventually found a small pile of dried radishes near the stove. Just as Li Wei was about to pick up a radish as evidence, the kitchen chef returned and dragged him off to work, keeping him busy for a long time. When Li Wei returned, he encountered a group meticulously preparing cabbage, a method that left him stunned. While ordinary people typically only peeled off the outermost, dry leaves, Tang Wenyao's family only used the freshest, tenderest part of the cabbage in the center. Li Wei's earlier sight of a full basket of cabbage ultimately resulted in only one dish, while the remaining leaves were discarded, leaving him feeling a pang of regret. After cooking the cabbage, the chef divided it in half, making one portion for a salad and the other for soup. When Li Wei went outside to dump the cabbage leaves, he found a crowd already gathered outside, eagerly waiting. Li Wei pushed a basket of cabbage leaves outside, and the people immediately swarmed over, snatching up the so-called waste. To Tang Wenyao, the Governor General of Liangjiang, these leaves were just trash, but to the hungry civilians, they were a precious resource that sustained their lives. After Li Wei returned from dumping the trash, he found the cook making soup. Upon closer inspection, he saw that the firewood that he was using wasn't ordinary firewood, but the pile of dried radishes he had seen earlier. Puzzled, Li Wei wondered why he was using radishes when he had firewood at home. He questioned the cook, who explained that they weren't radishes, but rather high-quality ginseng. While Li Wei knew what ginseng was and how it looked, he had never imagined it being used as firewood. The busy cook explained that the master had recently been focusing on health preservation, observing vegetarianism and Buddhist practices. Although his appetite had decreased, his diet was extremely meticulous. Cabbage soup, cooked with ginseng fire, was both light and nourishing. A true win-win situation. Upon hearing the cook's description, Li Wei meticulously wrote it down and sent it to Emperor Yongzheng. Upon learning of Tang Wenyao's true identity, Emperor Yongzheng immediately ordered the execution of his entire family and placed Li Wei in charge of overseeing the operation. Li Wei loaded all of Tang Wenyao's treasures onto a truck and shipped them to the capital. Upon seeing the dozen or so boxes of treasure, Emperor Yongzheng was momentarily stunned, but quickly regained his composure. He ordered them all brought to the palace, where he would personally examine them to see if they could reveal any clues about the others. Tang Wenyao's collection was truly breathtaking, and it took Emperor Yongzheng a long time to examine each one. Among these collections, Emperor Yongzheng's favorite was a uniquely shaped vessel, carved from a single block of white jade. The exquisite craftsmanship captivated him, and he couldn't let it go. However, after playing with it for a long time, the emperor still couldn't figure out its purpose. It wasn't until Li Wei questioned the servants of Tang Wenyao's residence in Jiangning that the emperor learned that it was Tang Wenyao's chamber pot.